A Simplex converted to a Great Western Railway Prairie Tank. This one is part 53, and it's all about cleaning and painting the pony trucks. Here's the story so far. This is on my kitchen table, and I'm still painting the chassis. I've painted the wheels, they're looking okay now. But unfortunately, painting the wheels took a long time. Painting all those spokes is really difficult to do, and it's surprisingly easy to miss one or two of them. This morning, the tins of Phoenix Precision Paints Buffer Beam Red arrived from Blackgates Engineering, so I will now be able to continue painting the red parts of the chassis. Great fun. I think also this time, for a bit of diversity, I'll paint the buffer beams as well. This locomotive has the Prairie wheel arrangement, and if you want to know more about that, please Google it. Even though these pony trucks, complete with the wheels, have been in my parts washer, and they've also been steam cleaned with my very feeble steam cleaner, they're still dirty, so I'm using this brass wire brush to remove some more of the grime that neither of those other processes touched. I haven't lost my marbles. I actually showed this clip in the previous episode for a purpose. The brass wire brush that I've had for many years is not a brass wire brush. It was pointed out to me by a viewer. It's actually a brass-plated steel wire brush, but because the bristles are quite fine, they don't seem to damage the work very much. In the previous episode, I showed how I cleaned up the wheels in the lathe, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to do it again. Please keep watching. It's almost painting time. This is some Phoenix Precision Paints Black Gloss. This is very durable paint, easy to apply, and it gives a good finish. I've selected a suitable brush, and now I'm painting the pony truck parts. And as I'm doing that, I'm looking at the stretchers and the axle boxes and all the other parts that have to be painted. I think I'll use another method. It seemed to be taking far too long to paint this pony truck. There must be an easier way. As you can see here, I haven't even finished it. The easier way is quite simple. I'm going to spray it. I thought I would mask off the rims of the wheels first, as I cleaned these up in the last episode. This was also going to take a long time. I have some Tamiya masking tape that's very good stuff, but this is not flexible either. It is when it's thinner, but not at 6mm. So I thought to myself, I'll paint everything. I'll just paint the lot and then re-clean the wheels. Seemed like a good idea. Here's a bit of a tip. If you're painting wheels and you don't want to get any paint on the tread, some broad elastic bands are quite useful. I have done that in the past. I've turned off the soundtrack for this clip because I'm by a wide open door, and at the time of the painting, every aircraft in the world seemed to want to fly over my shed. As you can see, I'm painting everything, including the spokes of the wheels, and that includes the rims and the tread of the wheels. Once I'd finished painting the pony trucks, I brought them through into the main part of the workshop and left them on the bench for 24 hours. And 24 hours later, I'm back in the workshop. The paint seems to be quite dry. It's probably not quite hard enough yet. But I'm not bothered about that. I just need to remove the paint from the rims and the treads of the wheels. You've already seen this, I know, in the previous episode, but there's something very different now that I do need to show you. So I've clamped the wheel in the chuck, the other end is supported by the live centre, and off we go. As before, I'm using my small Proxxon motor tool with a flapper wheel. And as before, I'm supporting the Proxxon motor tool on the top slide where the tool post normally fits. But there's a problem. The flapper wheel is getting clogged up with paint and becoming very ineffective. I know, I'll try something else. What about a piece of Scotch-Brite? Will this work? Well, it seems to, but it's not very good, and it's taking a long time to remove the paint. At this stage, I would like to say that there's an awful lot of paint on the rims because I was really wanting to paint the spokes, so as I rotated the wheels, the spokes were individually spray painted, but most of the paint went on the rims, and it was very thick. It's not too bad on the tread of the wheel. A piece of 100 grit emery cloth removed that paint quite easily, and eventually, by adopting the same method on the front face, all the paint disappeared from there too. Two problems here. It took a long time, and also it's clogged up my piece of emery cloth, it's clogged up my flapper wheel, and my piece of Scotch-Brite. And now it's top tip time. I'm using a carbide tipped lathe tool held in my hand. You can use a high-speed steel tool, it doesn't matter, as long as the tool is quite sharp and is capable of scraping off the paint. Then it was a very simple job just to use the emery cloth one more time. I used the emery cloth in a long length for the tread, and then I folded it over to clean up the front face. This can be quite a dangerous job, so watch where you put in your fingers. I finished off the job with a piece of Scotch-Brite. After completing cleaning up the pony truck wheels, I thought it would be a good idea to refill some of these plastic boxes with bolts, and in this case it was mainly BA bolts that I was running low on. This is not obsessive behaviour on my part. It's always a good idea to take stock of what you have in your small boxes, because if you run out of something, then the job stops. You have to remember that this is not just my hobby, I do it commercially for customers, and of course to make a new video every day. And for that reason it's very important that I do not run out of parts. And that's it for this episode. I'd just like to say stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.